It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Now, here's Joe Concha. It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
All right, let's bring in the host of the Sean Spicer Show. That's at Sean Spicer Show, co-host of the morning meeting, which I have shared with my next guest because every time I go on a hike, it may not be listening live necessarily, but that is always my go-to. Every Monday through Friday, it's a civilized, intelligent conversation about the state, mostly of politics and other things going on in the world. So definitely listen to the morning meeting, guys, when you're not listening to this station. He is Sean Spicer. Sean, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for the kind words. You know, I've done a lot in media. I know you've covered a lot in media. And the morning meeting, I'm so proud of. It's like everything else. Like I love defending conservative stuff and talking about the president and stuff like that. But the morning meeting, and anyone who wants to, just go to my YouTube channel, and we're live every morning from 9 to 10. And the cool thing is it's analysis. And like, I know you love this, Joe, because you literally bring such a perspective to the media. And what we do is you got a Democratic co-host, Dan Turrentine. We don't try to win each other over. We try to explain the news, right? So why is someone doing something? And it's not about like, I'm right, you're wrong. Half the time, Dan and I agree because we're explaining. And I love you in the analysis because I'm like, you're a sports guy. You have like 84 TVs in your house, I think, right?
That's true.
I know. And I know people like you who, my brother's one of those, like you can cite stats and you're like, you know, look, he ran for 18.2 yards in his freshman year. I love that for politics. And so for me, half the time, I love getting people in the morning and going over the news, why this is happening, why they reacted this way. So I thank you for mentioning it, but
yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, look, it's Mark Halperin, it's Dan Turrentine, it's Sean Spicer. And again, it's not like the Abby Phillips show on CNN where everybody's screaming at each other and it's all about getting a soundbite. It's just, you will be smarter by listening to the show.
But you know what? Can I just say one more thing? I know this is why you had me on. But the thing that there's a million people. I love analysis. I love punditry because I like people's opinion. Why do you think that? Blah, blah, blah. From both sides, to be honest with you. I love it. I'm a political dork. I love this stuff. but what I bring is completely different. I think, which is I can bring you analysis. Like, so we were brainstorming this morning with my team, and I said, hey, I want to do a whole thing on redistricting, go through state by state. I don't know that anyone else is going to spend 45 minutes going state by state doing that stuff. But for me, if you want to talk about who's going to hold the House of Representatives, this is probably 70% of the equation. And so I want to go through Missouri and Florida and Indiana and be like, okay, like let's get the really smart people in each of these states. Is it going to happen? If so, how is it, how many seats are going to yield? We're talking about potentially doing it here in Virginia now. We'll end up, if they pulled it off, they'd get 2, maybe 3 seats. But like, again, if you want to talk about who's going to hold the House of Representatives, that's a key part of it. And that's what I love about what I do.
And when you say Virginia, and I'm glad you brought this up because it's exactly what I want to talk about with you first. When you say they will get 2 or 3 seats, will that be Democrats or Republicans? I assume Democrats.
Yeah, so here's the situation. Virginia's got a little funky situation going on here where if you want to change or amend the Constitution or how we do things, it's the legislature itself that does it. The governor, unbelievably, does not have a role. So what
Youngkin
happens
has
is
no role,
House,
a Republican.
Right. So right now, the House of Delegates is controlled. I think the Democrats have a 2-seat majority. They got a 1 seat in the Senate. The House of Delegates, all 100 up right now this November, but not the Senate. So they will call back in a special session, is what they're rumored to be doing right now. Take Winsome Sears off the campaign trail with 12 days to go. Have a special session, pass a redistricting measure that would probably take at least 2 seats from that currently held by Republicans, like you look at Rob Whitman or Jen Kiggins down in the sort of Virginia Beach area, and they would remake those into Democrat-led seats. You'd push all the Republican seats out to the western side of Virginia. And then what happens is the way it works is you have to have an election in between the next vote of the assembly. So obviously they call a special session, vote now on a new redistricting effort. There would be an election held in a week or so, right? And then when they reconvene January 15th, the legislature in Virginia, the House of Delegates and the Senate, would vote again on the same thing they just voted on. And then it would go to the people of Virginia to decide. It's a sneaky thing that they're doing days before an election. But those are the kind of things, again, that I don't think most people appreciate. Like the Democrats could, if they pulled this off, like I said, easily 2, potentially 3 seats, and they would shore up the 9th, or the Eugene Vindman seat a little, I think, too. So these are the to me, like, and this is totally flying beneath the radar. Everybody wanted to talk about Texas. No one wants to talk about what the Democrats are doing in these other states.
Yeah, and it's happening all over, right? I mean, California, which I don't know how many more seats they could possibly have since it's basically all Democrat anyway.
But look, I'll give you an example. In California, they're going to get 5 seats in Republicans. But here's the dirty little secret about California. It's not just the 5 seats that they'll take. The Democrats will pick up, right? Yeah. They will pick up 5, and then they'll shore up probably 4 to 6 competitive seats. So that's another total equation changer. And what I mean by that is, think about the millions of dollars that the Democrats would have had to have spent to defend a potential vulnerable Democrat members in California. They will shore those seats up, and what that will do is free up, probably a minimum of $10 million.
That's amazing. So there's a money equation here as well, as there always is in politics. We're talking to Sean Spicer. Yeah, I mean, we could be looking at 5 to 7 seats in Texas going Republican. You could see 2 to 3 in Ohio. Florida could also add some seats as well. Indiana, Missouri. If Democrats are going to play this game, ultimately, Sean, it looks like they very well can lose 17. I've seen even a higher number, 20 states. Yeah. And that could be the difference between House Speaker Hakeem Jeffries and perpetual impeachment, and obviously Mike Johnson remaining the House Speaker and the Trump agenda moving forward.
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
100%, and that's exactly what's at stake, Joe. But let's be honest. So again, the narrative isn't getting fully told. Texas, it started all this. Democrats like to say, "Oh, they gerrymandered their map," and that's just simply not true. The Department of Justice, because of a case out of Galveston, required them to redistrict. Right? So I mean, they're not going to do it stupidly. They said, "Great, if we're going to be forced to do it, let's do it the way." But this all started because the Department of Justice said that they weren't in compliance with the Voting Rights Act. So. Anyway, they picked up 5 seats, and Gavin Newsom responded and said, "Well, fine, we'll redistrict in California. They're going to win that referendum, as far as I can tell. They'll negate that 5 with 5 in California, so now it is 0. Indiana, those wusses in Indiana can't get the votes to pull it off. So you take that off the table. Wow. I think you get 2 out of Missouri. So right now we're just +2 in Missouri. I think you get 3 out of Florida if they'll go through with it. So now you're at +5. There's a potential." So my point in all this is, after all of this, I agree. I started this cycle thinking, hey, Republicans are probably net up somewhere around 11 or 12. This might be a lot of smoke. And when the fire settles, you kind of look and go, Republicans end up +5, 6, 7. Because I think, especially if they did what they do in Virginia, it might even be 3 or 4 seats.
That's true. And I should be clear. I'm including also the Supreme Court as far as striking down, or at least limiting the Voting Rights Act, the VRA.
Yeah. And by the way, that to me is another whole media. It's like, just stop and for a moment realize that the Voting Rights Act created these what they call majority-minority districts, which is code word for Democrat, right? I mean, there's Republicans. You think about how minority Republicans win elections. So you got Young Kim in California, John James in Michigan, Byron Donalds in Florida, Burgess Owens in Utah. These guys of color are winning as Republicans in majority white districts. What Democrats did, using the Voting Rights Act as cover, is created what they call minority-majority district, which is they pack a bunch of people of color that are Democrats into a district, elect somebody, and say, "Oh, see, like this is not like they lie to you when they tell you about what the Voting Rights Act what they've done with it. They interpreted it to mean we create Democrat districts that elect, minorities. Republicans actually elect minorities. They just do it in sort of the free market, if you will, where the good candidate wins out because they've got better ideas and a better campaign. And so anyway, I get a kick out of all these folks because, again, it's not about voting rights for Democrats. It's about making sure that they pack districts where they can reelect themselves. Power,
exactly. And that's why they want Puerto Rico and D.C. to be states, because that adds for Democratic...
Oh, dude, don't get me started on D.C. I mean, I'm with you on this. It's such a scam that they're doing on that.
Yeah, I mean, 700,000 people in a city. Sure, make it a state. Why not? It's just
but Joe, since you brought up my favorite thing, just remember, I tell people this all the time. D.C. was created out of Virginia and Maryland. It used to be a perfect square. It was 10 miles by 10 miles. That's what the framers asked for. When they realized there were a whole bunch of issues without going to, I think it was 1847, they gave back where I live today, where I'm talking to you from right now, was part of D.C. We gave it back to Virginia. Okay. And the bottom line is that if we don't think that that the federal district is using a bunch of the area, which it's not, which is sort of wards 3, 4, all that northwest part of DC, give it back to Maryland where it came from. And the Democrats instead say, no, we should create a new state. Well, wait a second. It was part of a state. It was called Maryland. Maryland gave it to create this federal district. If you're not using it, do what you did with Virginia and give that back.
As someone who went to college right off of Route 1, the University of Maryland, yes, I am very familiar with that northwest part of D.C. that we're talking about here, and we're talking to Sean Spicer, of course. I want to get your reaction to this real quick, Sean, as a former White House press secretary. Here's Jen Psaki, this is Cut 2, guys, talking about how MSNBC really is the place to go to if you want news. Cut 2, go.
A lot of what we do is storytell and not bullshit and just tell people what's happening. And that's exciting to be a part of and to be our own world of it. Let's not debate the sky's blue. The sky's blue, right? And I don't think we have to have another side of, was it the pros and cons of Letitia James being indicted, right? There are no pros.
There are no pros.
There are many cons. Here are all the things with it. That is one of the things I so appreciate.
Is it embarrassing that you share the same title as her as a former White House press secretary? Because I think even more so than KJP, probably one of the worst people on the planet. Sorry to be personal, but that's just where
No. First of all, I mean, just think about that quote, what she's saying. And to me, that's what I find funny is her thing is, we storytell. Okay, well, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I'm a big believer. I have a show at night. I tell people all the time, I'm not a journalist. I'm in the media, but I have an opinion. I tell it. Like, if you're about to say that MSNBC is the place to go for news and we're great at storytelling, well, then that's not news. That's storytelling.
Right.
And I mean, like, I can't believe that you're dumb enough to put that sentence together. I mean, think about it. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, we're not doctors, but we talk about health. It's like, I don't understand what her point was there. MSNBC is a joke. Right. I did a great clip. If anyone wants to see it, I put it on my Instagram page last night. Speaking of Virginia, they're having this great conversation about misogyny and how American voters are anti-women and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys do know that in Virginia, regardless, like, there's 2 candidates for governor, both are women. Like you can't, one of them's going to win. Like, I hope it Winsome Earl Sears, but I'm just saying that, like, they're that stupid where they didn't realize that they're having this whole discussion about how the American people refuse to elect women. And I'm like, you guys that was their default excuse as to why, people aren't winning on the female side because we're a misogynist, sexist society. And I was like, no one stopped to think, hey, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, they said the same thing about Kamala Harris and why she wasn't president because of misogyny and sexism and racism when she ran in 2019 and didn't even get to 2020. Well, I could go on and on as far as how dumb MSNBC is, but you're right, and their viewership proves it. Anyway, Sean, they're telling me we got to go, but I appreciate it. You got to go do some things yourself, so I appreciate you joining us. The morning meeting, guys. Do watch it on Sean's YouTube page, and we thank the former press secretary, the good one, Sean Spicer, for joining us.
Thanks, brother.
Sean Spicer, everyone, and this is the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Back with more in just a moment.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show.